Hey everybody, it's your girl Bondy Blue, and I want you to check out Bondy's Boutique and get some of my merch, y'all. I've added some new things like my mermaid cups and the mermaid tees, and also the Shake Them Tits mugs. All right, you asked for it and you got it. Check out Bondy's merch at Bondy's Boutique. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue, and I am back for another Iyanla Fix My Life. Y'all, this episode was hella deep. This episode had a lot to talk about, so I just kind of want to go ahead and get into it. So it's about Cynthia and Monique. Cynthia is the mother and Monique is the daughter, and they're here to talk about their issues and why they're so angry and so hurt about things that have taken place in their lives. Iyanla sits down with Monique first and we start to unpack. And Monique was raped by her foster parents when she was 6 years old. Her mom had her for a little while, but her mom got arrested for selling crack. So she was then put into the foster care system, and the foster parents or siblings, they were bleeping it out, but I'm thinking it was probably the parents, molested her, both of them, male and female. Something where she said, you know, whoever it was would take her down in the basement and molest her, and then it was a woman, and then take her to somebody else's house, and then they would molest her together. Y'all, that's a, you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and move on, because just even thinking about how y'all just using that little girl like she's some type of sex doll is just so fucking terrible, and it makes my skin crawl. Let's just go ahead and move on. Because that's a lot. That's a lot to have on your spirit, to have on your body. And the first understanding of your sexuality is that it is something to be used by people in a way that you're not comfortable with. That's not a good sign, y'all. So then we get to her having her first abortion at 12 years old because she was in a sexual relationship with a 21-year-old man. That shit is just ridiculous. That, I mean, y'all, what the fuck be wrong with these niggas? 12, my nigga? 12? Like, I can't. She had sex with him because he said he loved her. Because at this point, she's looking for any type of love and affection she can get. So when love, or when affection, I'm gonna say affection because it's not love. When affection is wrapped up in abuse, you sometimes don't even care, because at least she wanted to have sex with him. She shouldn't have wanted to have sex with him, but she did, which is different from not having a choice at all when she was 6 years old, not wanting that at all, and that being a situation. So you can see how your mind starts to take things that aren't okay and make them okay because you feel like you don't have any other choice. So then we find out that in order to get that abortion at 12, she prostituted herself to an old neighborhood man that had been after her for a while. And she knew that he wanted her. So she said, I'll give you what you want if you give me what I want. And that's how she got the money for the abortion. Y'all. Like, see, here's my thing. And this is why I'm a firm believer in birth control by any means necessary. Because I think it's so important. It is the most important thing in the world to not bring children into the world that you don't want or you can't take care of. Because when you can't take care of them or you don't want them, they go through unnecessary immense amounts of pain by the hands of the people who have been tasked to take care of them. The foster care system is with the shits, because I hear more often than not that the kids are molested by the foster parents. Like, who's checking in when this is something you're not noticing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much shit in the world to be upset about, y'all. It's so much shit in the world to be upset about. Shit like this really, really gets to me because it's so unnecessary. A condom. You know what I'm saying? Birth control pills. But then, you know, you have to deal with the fact that people don't have the tools. They don't have the tools, so they have sex with people unprotected because they don't know any better. And that's another thing that makes me sad. You know, not knowing better enough to be like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with this person, but I'm gonna make sure I wear a condom. Allowing these niggas to say shit like, oh, you know, I don't like the way condom feels, and if you love me, you'll have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many times women have heard that shit? That shit should get old. That shit should be played out like an 8-track tape. We should not be hearing that shit from niggas no more. But you know, somewhere right now, there's some young girl feeling pressure to have sex with some man or some teenage boy because it's under the pretense of, if you love me. No, if you love me, then you'll understand what I want to do to protect my body. And if you're not okay with that, then you don't deserve to be inside my body. Monique says that she's been angry and she wants to hurt somebody because of all the people who have hurt her. And Niana takes her in front of a mirror that has all of the things about herself written on it. And right in the middle, circled in red letters, is cancer. The girl got cervical cancer. She said a year ago, she went to the doctor, they told her, and they froze the cells, and she never went back again. So she doesn't even know what her status is at this point. But she couldn't even deal with it. And it shows a lack of protection for her body. It shows a lack of caring about taking care of her body, which is the only one she has. But being taken advantage of and having other people disrespect, defile your body, then gets you into the mindset of, I don't need to protect my body. You don't know how to protect yourself if nobody has ever taught you. And because her mama was in jail or selling drugs or on drugs or whatever, she wasn't there to teach her. But then her mom wasn't there to teach her. So it's just like this cycle. It's this long cycle of people who don't know how to take care of children having children. Iyanla tells her that they have to get the cancer situation handled, so they're probably going to test her and all of that, you know, before she leaves, so that they can make sure that everything is okay with her. So then we have Cynthia come in, the mom. And we have her look in front of the mirror. And y'all, we can tell, you know, Cynthia has finally accepted the fact that she's a lesbian. Okay? You know, because you hear people, you know, she's going back and forth between men and women throughout her life. And she seems to have, you know, really set on where she at with it. And some people can say that's because she was molested by a woman. You know, but then you look at her daughter don't seem like she with women. She has 2 kids. I don't know if she's with the man, but they, you know, I'm not prejudging, you never know. But, you know, it's just something that I noticed and I couldn't get through the review without pointing that out, okay? But anyway, so then she has to deal with the fact that she was a horrible mother. And she has the guilt of that. And she doesn't want to let go of the guilt of that because, you know, then what? Like, you let go of the guilt and then what? They have like this messed up understanding of what letting go of guilt means. Like, it means you don't care anymore. And that's not what that means. Letting go of guilt means letting go of all the negative feelings that come from that bad decision. And what's left is what you've learned from that bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of times is why you'll see people who were shitty moms be better grandmothers. You know, shitty fathers be good grandfathers, because they've seen how they fucked up and now they have to try to make up for it, you know? So we move on to holding on to pain and how that stunts your growth. Y'all, I say this all the time, that you have to forgive because you have to let go of the pain. And people will be like, you don't have to forgive, you don't have to forgive. No, you don't always have to forgive. But sometimes when you don't forgive, it does more negative to you, your emotions, and your mental growth than it does for the person that you're upset at. So I ask everybody, if there is somebody that you can't forgive, ask yourself why, and then ask yourself, how is not forgiving that person harming you? And be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. If not forgiving this person is meaning you having some resentment and some anger deep down, that it comes out in the way you treat your kids, or it comes out in the way you treat people around you, that's something that you need to fix. Because you don't want to be the negative thing in somebody else's life that makes them feel the same anger and hurt that you have. Hurt people. And that was the main thing that we were talking about in this situation. Because then they get into Cynthia and how she and her daughter have damn near the exact same story. From what Cynthia's point of view is, her mom left her to get her shit together and never came back. She was living with her grandmother, and her grandmother abused her, beat her, something awful. So she left. And she was in a relationship with a woman. She had a fling with some man, a high school friend, and got pregnant with Monique. Then she's in this abusive relationship with this woman who is beating her and sticking broomsticks and anything else that she can find inside of this woman, trying to force an abortion, trying to force her baby to die because she's mad that Cynthia was pregnant. When she said that, y'all, the fact that she was willing to deal with that type of abuse because she didn't know anything besides abuse, and also because she didn't have anywhere to go, y'all, all the complaining that people do about the money that goes into, you know, Planned Parenthood, that, you know, all of the money that goes into helping lesser income people, and they act like, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, they don't need all this money. And then you think about how if somebody would have had some type of shelter that would have been even halfway decent, where she didn't have to worry about somebody hurting her in the shelter, she might have been able to have somewhere to go and wouldn't have had to stay with a woman who was abusing her to that extent. You know what I mean? Like, it's just when you think about these things on a real level, on a face-to-face level of what people go through when they don't have shit, and put that up against how people always want to act like it's the poor's fault. It's your fault because you don't have a job, or it's your fault that you pouring on welfare. And you know, like, people it's because they can't really fathom what it's like. I myself can't really fathom what it's like, but I can put myself in somebody's shoes enough to know that people need help. And there should have been help somewhere for a 19-year-old pregnant girl that had nowhere to go, no family, and somebody abusing her by sticking things inside her, trying to force her baby to die. Y'all, that's a lot of abuse to go through just to have somewhere to stay. Y'all, that's really fucked up to me, y'all. For real, for real. And then Cynthia says the same thing that Monique says. She wishes she could hurt people the way they hurt her. And then when you see these angry ass women walking around who always got a problem, always got an attitude, you realize, or you start to realize, that sometimes their issues aren't with you, or, you know, or their issues aren't with people as a whole. The issues are with themselves and the things that they can't bring themselves to deal with. That's how anger manifests itself. And it also manifests itself in cancer. Please believe that, okay? I'm one of them people that believe that when you an angry person, when you allow anger to, you know, take over your life like that, you will catch cancer. Like, I really do believe that, y'all. I believe that with my dad. Like, even though he has so many other reasons to catch cancer, I still believe him having the type of anger he had inside of him, the stress he had inside of him, made his body a breeding ground for cancer. Like, I really believe that. So then Iyanla brings Cynthia and Monique together because she wants to show them all of the things that they have in common, because they don't know each other's stories. Cynthia doesn't know what happened to Monique, and Monique doesn't know what happened to Cynthia. First though, I think it's so important that Monique doesn't really blame her mother. She's angry, but she forgives her mother. She knows that it wasn't her mother's fault, that her mother didn't have the tools to give her a better life. Iyanla says that we have to respect our elders, meaning that Monique needs to have respect for her mother. And y'all, I say this all the time. People are always talking about, oh, fuck this, fuck that, fuck your da 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 da. Y'all can be like that if y'all want to, but I always off rip start off with respecting my elders for a number of reasons. For one, that's how I was raised. But Iyanla put it so simple. When you don't respect your elders, you are showing people how to treat you when you get old. And one day you will get old, God willing. And the last thing you gonna want is for some young whippersnapper that don't know shit to feel like they can disrespect you because they think they know better. Because see, sometimes it's not, sometimes, you know, old people don't have all the answers. Nobody's ever said that. But it's just about showing respect to people so that it can then be returned to you. It's about having patience with people so that they can then have patience with you. You know what I'm saying? It's really about showing people how you want to be treated by the way you treat them. Point blank, period. When Monique tells Cynthia that she was molested by the foster parents at 6 years old the same way she was, she breaks down and she gets up. No, 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 no. I didn't want this to happen to you. I didn't want this to happen. It wasn't supposed to happen, y'all. I was so in my emotions, y'all. I was so in my emotions when she sat down and Iyanla was like, no, you have to put it together for your daughter. You have to be a parent right now. You put your feelings second in this situation. And she had to hug her and Iyanla put the cover over them. And she was like, you have to support her. Tell her it's okay. You have to support her. And in making her do that in that moment, y'all, oh Lord, that got to me. That got to me so much in that moment when she was just holding her and they were both crying, knowing that they had been through the exact same thing at the exact same age and didn't even know. That's how strong family pathologies are, because people can go through something and not even know that they go through the exact same situations. Cynthia has to tell Monique about being abused by the woman while she was pregnant and her putting hangers and boards and broomsticks inside of her, and she has to not be defensive because Monique is upset like, mama, you knew that wasn't okay. Why would you let her do that to you? You knew that wasn't all right. And she's like, I didn't know. She's getting defensive, and Iyanla says, listen, she is holding you accountable for the fact that you made decisions that put her in harm's way. So you have to not explain it away. You can't explain it. Let her hold you accountable, because you are accountable to her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what the fuck she be talking about. I don't care what nobody say. So Cynthia asked for Monique's forgiveness, and once again Monique said, I know it's not your fault, mama, I forgive you. And they hug, and it was just such a therapeutic moment. Even though you didn't really see you didn't really see that they didn't love each other, you saw that there was something holding them back from being honest with one another. And when Iyanla said, I just want y'all to be honest and open with each other as women, not as mother and daughter, but as women. Tell each other your story so that y'all can understand each other on a deeper level, and so that you can learn that the things that Monique has gone through are the things that Cynthia went through, and probably the things that Cynthia's mother went through, which is why she wasn't there to take care of her in the first place. Like, we have to understand each other's story so that we cannot repeat the same mistakes. People like to forget their history. They don't know about history. They don't care about history. But if you don't know your history, you will repeat the same mistakes. Point blank, period. Okay? Like, I really want people to understand that. So after all of that, they have the doctor come sit down with them so they can tell Monique what her status is on her cervical cancer. And they say that the doctor froze those cancerous cells, so she doesn't have cancer. Thank God. But she does need to follow up and make sure she keeps getting her pap smears and make sure she keeps going to the doctor so that those cells don't redevelop into cancer. So it's a blessing that it wasn't like that. Y'all, that Monique was some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl. But you could just see the weight of the world was all on her shoulders, and it still was on her up until the end. I hope that eventually she's able to let that go, because, you know, of course Iyanla had to let her know that you're not a bad mother. Your mothering is not bad, but you are in some way hurting your daughter because you haven't dealt with your anger, you haven't dealt with your pain, therefore passing it down to her through the way that you interact with her. Because you can't deal with your own pain, y'all. It's real deep. People really need to clean their shit up, you know. People like to go through life not talking about things, putting it in the back of their mind like it's not bubbling up under the surface. I think the fact that my parents, or my father specifically, didn't deal with his anger issues, passing that anxiety down to me in such a way that it's hard for me to deal sometimes, y'all. It is hard. But I try my best, because whenever I do bring a child into this world, I don't want to give them that same anxiety. I want them to feel free. Free. In a way that I don't, in a way that my father never could. You know what I'm saying? It's important to recognize your pathologies so that you don't pass them down. Talk about them. Deal with them. You know what I'm saying? This episode of Iyanla was good, y'all. It was really good. Just a lot of terrible things that happen to people, and I feel like their stories are something that is so relatable to so many people. But people just really have to really have to think about whether they want to deal with their issues. Because don't say you want to deal with it but you don't want to go to therapy. You don't want to get put on medication. And therapy isn't always medication. Sometimes therapy is just allowing yourself to open up, to realize that you still have wounds there that need fixing, you know. But anyway, y'all, it was all therapeutic and I enjoyed it. And I will see y'all in the next review, which will be Love in Marriage, Huntsville, baby. Okay, something to talk about. See y'all in the next one.